Okay, girls, just get it out of the way. Freaking reading glasses, I know. Okay. It's my highest honor to be here and to be the coach of the 2010 team. Just as it's a high honor to be here with the other inductees. Becca, I don't think you know this, but I had a lot of respect for you when you got carded, and I was like, that chick's a badass. I want her after 5th year of eligibility. Let's bring her over. But I remember Deanna yelling, back up base! Back up base! Just screaming. So I know what you went through. You did great. Congratulations. We were surrounded by so many champions. And I have a quote, because I can't go out of here without giving any quotes, of course. Put on my readers. Champions do not become champions when they win the event, but in the hours, weeks, months, and years they spend preparing for it. The victorious performance itself is merely the demonstration of their championship character. And I think our team really epitomized that, and the champions that we were around. When I first got the job, Dr. Jordan and Joan McDermott decided to bring softball back to Metro State, and I don't know if they had any idea of the ripple effect that it would cause. So there was this stone cast of opportunity, opportunity to compete, and opportunity to get an education, and these 15 women that are here tonight, they grabbed that opportunity. Well, 13 of 15 are here, which is pretty awesome. They grabbed that opportunity and they turned it into a legacy. And part of that legacy can be seen in the record books. So the career records, I was going through this today, or a couple days ago, and I started highlighting all the 2010 members of the team that have career records. So batting average, slugging percentage, on-base percentage, hits, runs scored. We have the top 4. We're on that team. Of course, home runs. You know, the 2 categories that we're not super strong in, sacrifice bunts and stolen bases. But we didn't need to do that because we just hit the ball over the fence all the time. This team set a record for home runs, an NCAA record that stood for several years. 112 home runs in 56 games. So it was pretty incredible being a part of them. And, you know, I didn't really have to think very much in the third base coach's box. I just give a little clap. You got this. You got it. Let's go. And they would swing for the fence. And sometimes, you know, we are in the record books for strikeouts as well. And sometimes we missed. But anyway, we had a great time. This is a group of young women that we worked security at the Bronco games. We were frying French fries, and I still remember Amber Roundtree on the grill taking the temperature of the bratwursts at the Bronco games. Another thing that we started was a girls' softball camp, and this was completely volunteer for our players, and they literally inspired hundreds of girls to be more confident, and many of those girls went on to play college softball. And I remember we got an email from, you guys remember Alexa? And she was so shy and she wouldn't talk, and her mom brought her to camp, and she wrote us an email. And, you know, the girls never really saw me cry ever, but this mom wrote an email about her daughter and how she was so afraid to talk, and she started being a leader on her team after coming to the Metro State camp because she learned how to have confidence in herself. And she went on to play Division I. She's a Division I softball player right now. And yeah, Yeah. These girls volunteered their time to teach and demonstrate skills at coaches' clinics. Molly, remember when you tripped on the ladder in front of all the coaches? I'm sorry. One time. Molly's the most coordinated person in the world. We have 50 coaches sitting in the stands watching them run ladders, and Molly happens to trip that time. Another thing we did was, we would remove snow from our field for 2 days. Kind of back-breaking work, and we cared for our own field. We would rake, tamp, sweep, drag, water the field, put the bases in. Sometimes some of the seniors didn't teach the only freshmen how to put the bases in, and she got yelled at, but that's okay. They took care of their own field. We shoveled snow off of our field for and the soccer field. I mean, yeah, so we had to put up our own fence. Many of the parents that are here took down the fence for us, or helped us take down the fence. And bless their hearts, they would wait till the end of my post-game speech, which usually was not very short. And then they would help us remove the fence, and we'd stack it right over where the hotel is now. But we didn't care. We didn't care. We loved the opportunity. We just wanted to play. And we'd shovel our field for 2 days. Our backs would be sore. We had these giant yellow trash cans. We'd put the snow in that, drag it over, dump it on the parking lot. And everybody's back would be so sore. And we'd go out and kick everybody's ass the next day, because we're like, you know what? Like, F you, because we're going to kick your ass right now. These girls were tough. I still remember Hob with the sawzall. Remember the sawzall? And so we would break our fence all the time because it was cold and it was plastic, and Molly would be running through the fence. I'll brag about you, Molly. Robbing home runs, and she'd run into this temporary fence, and or they'd be hitting the ball so freaking hard it would go through the fence. We'd be like, is that a double or a home run? Because that just went through it. I think we got a couple home runs that actually went through, but they were lasers, so they couldn't tell if they went through or over. But I remember Hob and Amber with the sawzall, and they're like, and they're like cutting the panels, and they're putting the new panels back in. We're taking care of our own, doing our own fence. But this was a team that was completely bought in and completely invested. And I don't, Tanya and I were just talking about this. It's hard to find that anymore. It really is. And these 15 young ladies, it was like, coach, okay, we'll do it, and they just 110% bought in. We were doing mental skills training. We were doing visual skills training. I still remember we had to share the batting cage with the baseball team. And so our first year, it was 2010 when we went to the Final Four, but it was only our third season of competition. And our first season of competition, we had a really great year, and then second season comes around, and we lead the nation in doubles and RBIs, and we're hitting in the cages, and the boys are always like waiting for us to, they're breathing down our neck, like, really, you shouldn't be using our cage, but okay, we'll let you because we have to. So they're breathing down our neck, and we're doing this vision training. We have these clipboards and these tumbly knees like you see when you go to the eye doctor, and the girls are doing this stuff, and the boys are just like, what is that? That's softball. Well, then we hit like 90 home runs that year, and all of a sudden the boys are like, what is that? What are you doing? Oh. So anyway, we really had great baseball coaches all the way through, and we worked together. We had such a great time together. But this was when all of that stuff, nobody was talking about visual training. Nobody was talking about mental skills. Nobody was talking about arm care. We did arm care every day, So, but these ladies were invested in it. And if I said, hey, I think this is going to help us, if the coaches said that, they did it. Their intensity, their focus, their ability to play one pitch at a time. I mean, I don't know if you really understand how difficult it is to go play. Our conference series were 4 games. So you drive to a place and you play a doubleheader on Saturday and you play a doubleheader on Sunday. And to go to an opponent's home and to sweep them, it's incredibly difficult. And we had so many sweeps. I mean, we had 4 losses before we went to nationals. 4 losses in the entire season. And so I think their ability to focus and concentrate and to play one pitch at a time and to be in the moment was absolutely incredible. We had a quote that we lived by. It's the little details, little things make big things happen. And I think our team really, truly believed in that, and certainly embodied that. Another thing that was so impressive about this team is that we had a team captain that was like the social team captain, and we had a team captain that was like the chants and the cheers team captain, and we had a team captain on the field, and we had a team captain of, community service, and every single person on the team respected their teammates and what they were good at. And they were not only great leaders, but they were exceptional followers. And they understood and respected hey, if Tara's great at that, I'm going to try to be as good as her at that. And if Janessa's really good at that, I'm going to be as good as her at that. And Danny's great at this. And so together they became this incredible team that, truly I have not seen since. And they lived by the motto that much can be accomplished by teamwork when no one cares who gets the credit. And anytime they were interviewed, Eric was always interviewing us and making us feel, we called him the paparazzi. We're like, hey, Danny, the paparazzi wants to talk to you. Christy, the paparazzi is waiting for you. And they made us feel so special. And but anytime the players were interviewed, it was constantly not about them, and I didn't have to teach them that. And I'm telling you now, in my current position, I won't name any names, but it's difficult to get that same level of teamwork. It truly is. And one thing that I still remember, one day we were in the baseball cage and we were getting ready for a game. And I'm just looking at the girls, and we had new uniforms our first year, and then we didn't get new uniforms because there wasn't a cycle, right? Like we got 4 new uniforms when we started, and then those were our new uniforms. So it was 2010. They've been wearing the same uniforms for 3 years now. You'd think they'd get a little dull. These kids put on that uniform, and I mean they were like, yeah, it's game day. Let's go F some up here, let's go. I mean, these girls, they love to compete so much that we used to play taboo all the time. They love to compete so much that the coaches, me and Coach Padge and Coach Becerra, Coach Madrill, I don't think played taboo with us that much, but we would play taboo against them. They took the thing home and practiced and memorized it so that they could beat us. And they were giving the clues, and they're like, remember when I said this and then you said that? And I was like, what? Wait a minute. They were so busted on that. But they were competitors. And when they put that uniform on, I mean, it was like their eyes lit up and they were ready to compete. There's no other way to explain it. I mean, if you're going to win 56 games in one season, you gotta love the fight. You gotta love the battle. And I want to talk about the greatest days of my life besides my wedding and the day my son was born. the greatest days of my life came in those final weeks in 2010. And it began with an incredibly gutsy performance against Colorado Mesa, where we had to come back and beat them twice in the championship game, and because we had gotten bumped down into the losers bracket. And Molly had this incredible game-saving catch. Julia launched one over the tennis courts, pretty much. Remember that one? I was like, whoa, that's going out. I think she broke her bat on that one. Regis, so we beat them the first game, and we're playing the second championship game. We're in between games, and literally Regis and Mesa coaches are, Regis is giving Mesa all of their scouting information on us. And they're doing it right in front of everyone, like in the stands. And I'm like, really? Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and beat the mental capacity of Regis and Mesa, their mental capacity, and we still beat them. Right? And we broke the home run record that Mesa had previously held. So how's that for karma? In the final weeks of that season, we also we earned home field advantage by winning the conference and being a top seed. We earned home field advantage in the regional, but we couldn't host at our home field. We had to go play at Colorado Springs because we always had graduation on our softball field. So we go to the regional, and we end up beating Minnesota Mankato, and Hobb, who is like 3 weeks out from a fracture in her wrist, wears a pitch on her same wrist that she has a broken bone in, and keeps this rally going. We score a run. We have a huge rally that inning. And we send Minnesota Mankato home crying about, let's see, the fences were too short. Like, we brought them in when we were hitting, and then we moved them back when they were hitting or something. And crying about the umpiring and everything, because Hobb actually got hit. Like, what are you crying about? You can see it on her arm. And she had a broken bone there. But, and she's pregnant with twin boys. What a rock star she is. So we send Mankato home crying, and then we get to host Super Regional because now graduation's over. So we get to host our Super Regional the next week. And we're in game one. It's a best-of-3 series, and we're in game one against this really All-American pitcher, really good team. And it's just, I try to describe this to my team now, and I can't quite get it through their head. I try to explain the gravity of this. We are literally down to our last strike. It's the 7th, and it's the bottom of 7. We're home field. We're home team. We have nobody on. This kid's pretty much been dealing all day, right? And so Tara gets up there and just freaking battles and battles and battles and battles, and she's got 2 strikes on her, and it's a double. It's 10 pitches, 10 pitch at bat or more. And Janessa comes up, and Joe, by the way, this is really embarrassing, but Joe and Chris pull up their shirts and say, "Hit it here." And what does Janessa do? She freaking hits it here. A 2-run bomb, a walk-off bomb. We win the first game of the Super Regional, and it sets the tone. And then so we come back. We're in the driver's seat. We come back the next day. We only got to beat them once. We go extra innings with them just to make it exciting, I guess. I don't know. I mean, we score like 5 in the first few innings, and then we got to let them back in the game, and we go like 12 innings with them, and we win the game. And we're going to nationals, and Andy is singing Poker Face. He's singing Gaga, and I am just, and we're getting drug tested, and I'm like, we must be a big deal now because we're getting drug tested. And we got the media asking us questions, and just incredible. So we make it to nationals. We go to, well, our first flight, because we always drove everywhere, 15 hours to western New Mexico. Amber will never let me live that one down. But so we go to nationals. We're getting called. This is crazy. It's 2010. We're getting called. If you don't know softball, an illegal pitch is like a balk, basically. So we're playing Angelo State, and we're getting called time after time after time for illegal pitch. And I still see that umpire, Tony, by the way. And I want to beat him up, but I don't. I just smile, and I tell my assistant now, I say, you're going to have to watch me this game because I might go a little crazy. But he said, I don't know if you remember me. I had you guys in at the D2 World Series. And I go, oh, did you? I don't really remember. But anyway, I just can't believe the grace that this team showed. So obviously I get a little uptight sometimes. Our team was incredible. And Christy's throwing and getting called for all these illegal pitches. And the Angelo State fans were apologizing to us after the game. They were like, we are so sorry. That was total BS, and we can't believe it. So we end up losing the first game. And Christy and Britt, who have been pitching since probably since they were like 8 years old. They've been pitching 12 years, okay? And it's like come down to Christy's last day of her career. And so we have a day off in between. And we're at practice, and Christy's changing her pitching motion. She's been pitching this way for 12 years. But she's changing her pitching motion so as to try to avoid this from happening. And Coach Madrill and I are watching film, and we're just like, I can't even see what they're talking about, but we're just going to have to deal with it. And so we end up winning our next game, and then we face North Georgia. And that's a team that came into the tournament. They were 52-0. And early in the game, and these guys are just cocky. I mean, the guy coaches are wearing the white jackets. If a guy coach is wearing a white jacket, he's cocky. I don't know. He was a white jacket coach. He was. I was just like, dude, why? Like, it's softball. Why are you wearing a white jacket? It's softball. So he's a white jacket dude, and he thinks, we're going to take, and he's doing some weird warm-up that he thinks, we'll do this, and we'll scare him or whatever. Well, Molly comes up, base hit, runner on second. Molly comes up and just guns a freaking strike to Budge, and she goes, whoa, lays it on the girl. Boom, out. And we just go crazy. I mean, everybody goes crazy. Let's go! So Janessa and Tara both hit home runs. It's a night game. They both hit home runs in that game, and we knock off North Georgia. One of the most incredible things I've ever been a part of. But we end up, so then we play HPU, and we get dinked. Oh, my gosh. Could they get any more bloop singles? I don't know. But we end up getting beat by HPU, but I'll never forget the press conference. And I just wanted to be so frustrated with the officials. And, you're not allowed to say anything. This is great therapy for me because I can say whatever I want about the officials right now. And I'm not going to get fined. Okay. So I could not, you can't say anything bad about the officials. And, by the way, the next week was the D1 World Series, and Mike Candrea, University of Arizona, he got fined up the wazoo because these officials were calling the same BS with the illegal pitches. They just, I don't know what happened. They didn't call it all year, and then they called it at the Nationals. But anyway, I'll never forget the press conference because I just wanted to be so frustrated with the officials. But Christy, with grace, I mean with total grace, said, they're asking her about her season and her year, and she's graduating, and what she said brought tears to my eyes. She said, I'm really excited for all of you to see Brittany Moss, and she's a really great pitcher, and I'm excited for the future of this team. And I thought, oh my gosh, what what I could learn from Christy in that moment, and what I learned from this team was more than what I could have ever taught them. The coaching staff is just amazing. Still my dearest friends. Coach Padge used to work right there, and she'd see us starting practice, and she worked right. She volunteered. It was all volunteer. Coach Madrill, they're all getting gear. That's what they get for coaching. Like, oh, I get a BP top and some trainers. Awesome. Okay, thank you. We got gear for them. I mean, that's what they got for their hours. And Coach Becerra is 8 months pregnant in St. Joseph, Missouri, sweating her ass off, and she's hitting fungos, man, and everybody's like, oh my God, your coach is, and we're like, oh, she's fine. Well, we get back, and 5 days later, we're supposed to have our team party, and she's like, we can still have it. I just have to go to the doctor. I'll be right back. Nope, she has Michaela that day. So thank goodness she waited till we got home, and Michaela wasn't born in St. Joseph, Missouri. That wouldn't be good. But, the coaches, the players, Andy Schlichting was our director, or our sports information, and Sandy. I can't tell you how amazing it was to have Sandy, to have an administrator there in the trenches with you. And we had Dr. Fryatt, our faculty athletic rep. Oh my goodness, she was the biggest softball fan we had, and I want to thank Buzz. Buzz was an extension of our staff completely. Eric always made us look good, made me sound good when I had grammatical errors in my quotes or whatever. But we were definitely a family. And I can't really believe how lucky I was to be the coach of this team. I really hope, and I hear from you guys that you've been a part of something like this. This was really, really special, and all these young women, because of the opportunity that Metro State provided them, they are tremendous leaders now. They're teachers. They're leaders in their workplace. They're moms. They're just amazing. So, if you learn anything from these women, I think it's just, put all of yourself into whatever your passion is, and really good things will happen. And now I'd like for the team to come up, and Amber has a few words for us, okay? Let's go. Come on, team.
Thanks for coming out tonight. First off, thank you for showing your support to us by coming out tonight. We're really grateful for that. This team is a very special team. Everyone standing up here is very special. The season of 2010 was definitely one for the history books. Through all the challenges, struggles, and successes that we went through that year, we were able to achieve things that I'm not sure any one of us thought that we could achieve at the time. From first off, building a program, basically, a few years prior, to having winning seasons, and from breaking records to ultimately making it to the World Series, we couldn't have asked for a better season. But before I say anything else, I wanted to say a thanks to a few people. First off, to our parents, friends, and family. Without your never-ending love and support, none of us would be up here tonight. For all the practices that you brought us to, for all the games and tournaments that you attended, all the road trips that you went on, and all the fundraisers that you suffered through. From the time we first began playing softball to the last game we would ever play. Without you, none of this would have ever been possible. And to the coaches, oh yeah, go ahead. To the coaches who brought us up from the beginning, all of the skills that you taught us, the life lessons we learned, and you teaching us to how to truly love the game of softball is priceless. Some of you became mentors, and some of you became second dads. But all of you coaches played a tremendous role in our success, and we can't thank you enough. To Metro State, which was the that when we went through. Metro State College. Yeah. Thank you for creating the opportunity to have a softball program and for giving us the support that we needed. Thank you to the athletic department, to Joan McDermott, Andy Schlichting, is that how you say it? Andy McClure, Eric Lansing, Sandy Mott, Dr. Fryatt, Elaine, and anyone else I'm forgetting to mention. You guys all played a significant part during that season, and we can't thank you enough. And lastly, to our awesome coaching staff, thank you for your hard work, dedication, time, and truly your love and support you showed us. We couldn't have done it without you guys. That 2010 season was a season full of memories that we all will cherish for the rest of our life. We came together as a group that year and accomplished what seemed to be the unreachable. And looking at us now, we are all successful women in this world. Some of us are moms, most of us are married, soon to be married, I think all of us. But all of us have successful jobs, and I truly think that that is something to be proud of. Not many athletes get to experience the success that we all got to be a part of. And I personally am grateful for this team, these coaches, and the amazing season that we had this year. So thank you all for coming out tonight. That's it.